God has just opened a file in heaven that carries your next blessing. And I need you to hear this clearly. This is not random, my child, my beloved. You have no idea how many times your name has been spoken today in places you cannot see. You may feel alone right now. You may feel like nothing is moving, like your prayers are just disappearing into silence. But pause for a moment and listen. Something has shifted. Heaven has opened a sacred file with your name on it. This file was not ordinary. It was sealed, protected, and hidden from every evil eye. It carried a mark that said, "Do not open until they are ready." And now, it has been opened. The seal is broken. The scroll is unrolled. And the next chapter of your life is being revealed, but only if you are willing to receive it. Before we go any further, I need you to stay present. Don't rush. Don't skip. There is something in this message that was meant to reach you at this exact moment. Because heaven is not just speaking, heaven is watching. If something inside you is stirring, if your spirit feels something you cannot explain, then stay. Stay until the end. Because those who remain are the ones who witness the shift happen right in front of them. Subscribe now as an act of obedience to what your spirit is sensing. This is more than a button. It is your decision to stay aligned with the messages that are guiding you into your next season. Do not walk away when you are this close. As an act of faith right now, press the like button. This is not just engagement, it is agreement. It is your way of saying, I believe something is shifting, and that act of faith begins to accelerate the breakthrough already moving toward you. This is not just a message. This is a moment. Share this message with someone right now. When you do, you are not just sending a video, you are multiplying the favor over your life and extending this blessing to someone who needs it. If you feel something stirring inside you right now, don't ignore it. Type Amen in the comments below. Let this be your first step of agreement, your way of saying, I am open and I receive what heaven is releasing over my life. This morning, something happened. A hidden place in heaven was opened, a place that is not accessed often. I was called to stand before a sacred table, and on that table, your name was shining, not faintly, not quietly. It was glowing. There was a file placed before me. It was alive with light, protected, and filled with something I could feel even before I touched it. And then the voice of God spoke clearly, deliver this to them. So I came straight to you. What I carry is not just words. It is not imagination. It is not a story. It is a divine blueprint for what happens next in your life. But understand this, it is fragile, it is sacred, and it can be missed. There are moments in life where everything changes in a single second. Not slowly, not gradually, but suddenly. This is one of those moments. If you feel this is your moment, take 1 second and like this video. Let that simple action become a seed of faith that activates what heaven is opening for you right now. You are standing at a spiritual doorway right now. And inside this file is everything you have been asking for. The answers you whispered at night. The healing you cried for when no one was watching. The breakthrough you almost gave up on. It's all here. The betrayal you went through. God saw it. The opportunity that slipped away. It was not your failure. The pain you carried in silence. It was recorded. And now, the story is being rewritten. But listen carefully. This file will not stay open forever. Heaven does not waste what is sacred. If this moment is ignored, it will close. And what was meant for you may pass by. I am not saying this to create fear. I am saying this because timing matters. There have been forces trying to keep you distracted, tired, and discouraged. That heaviness you've been feeling, that confusion, that delay, it was not random. But those forces are losing their hold right now because you found this message. And this message is connected to the moment heaven said, now. My child, my beloved, you were never forgotten. Not for a second. What felt like silence was not absence. What felt like rejection was not denial. What felt like delay was protection. You were being prepared. There was a gathering in heaven, and your name was spoken. And what was written next to your name moved heaven itself. The words were clear. Prepare them for restoration. Prepare them for abundance. Prepare them for a love that does not break them. Prepare them for a reward that only heaven can give. You might ask, why now? Why is everything changing now? Because you reached a point where the old season can no longer follow you. That is why things started falling apart. That is why certain people began to act differently. That is why things you once depended on suddenly felt unstable. It was not punishment. It was clearing. The wrong had to leave before the right could enter. The false had to fall away before the real could arrive. You were not being stripped. You were being freed. Freed from what was draining you. Freed from what was limiting you. Freed from what was never meant to stay. And now, the file says something powerful. You are approved for your next level. There is a part of this file that shines brighter than everything else. A section that carries a title that cannot be ignored. The promise they thought was forgotten. And in that section, everything you gave up on is listed. The joy you thought you lost. The peace you stopped believing in. The love you thought was not meant for you. The life you almost stopped hoping for. It is still yours. Nothing was erased. Nothing was wasted. But now, you must treat this moment with seriousness, because it is sacred. You are not here by accident. You were guided here. You must be present. You must be open. You must say, even quietly, I receive. Don't keep it silent. Write it in the comments. I receive. Let this be your act of faith, your way of opening the door fully so what is yours can finally enter your life. And heaven responds to readiness. Subscribe as a sign that you are ready. This act of obedience keeps you in position to receive what heaven continues to release in this new season. When I opened the file, I saw something that I cannot ignore. I saw you, but not the version of you that is tired, confused, or waiting. I saw the version of you that has already received. You were standing in peace. There was strength in your presence. There was calm in your spirit. And in your hands, you were holding something. A letter. It was glowing. And the words written on it said, delivered because they believed. That is your future. That is what is waiting on the other side of this moment. But I also saw something else. Another version. A version where you walked away, where you ignored this, where you doubted and moved on. And that version of you was still searching, still asking why nothing changed, still carrying the same weight. I am here so that version does not become real, but I cannot force you. This is your choice. If you feel something in your chest right now, if your body feels still, or your thoughts suddenly slow down, that is not coincidence. That is alignment. Heaven does not only speak through words, it speaks through what you feel. The heaviness lifting, the quiet forming inside you, the sense that something is happening, even if you cannot explain it. That is your soul recognizing truth. You are not chosen by chance. You are chosen with purpose. And this moment is proof. If you believe the shift has already begun, type Amen in the comments. This is your confirmation, your agreement with what is already moving in your life. This file carries today's mark. It is time sensitive, and it carries one clear message: final opportunity to receive. You are standing at the edge of a divine instruction. Like this video right now as an act of alignment. Let it represent your decision to move with what heaven is doing instead of hesitating at the edge of your breakthrough. My child, my beloved, there is something the enemy never wanted you to understand. When this divine file was opened, there were pages inside that were not written with ink. They were written with light, living light, truth that cannot be changed, cannot be rewritten, and cannot be erased. And every line spoke about you, not the version of you that people labeled, not the version shaped by rejection, misunderstanding, or pain, but the real you, the one heaven has always known. People called you difficult, but heaven calls you destined. They said you were too emotional, but heaven calls you deeply aware. They said you were too much, but heaven says you carry too much light for those who refuse to see clearly. You were never the problem. You were placed in environments that could not understand what you carry. And over time, you started shrinking yourself. You became quieter when you should have spoken. You held back when you should have stepped forward. You questioned yourself when you should have trusted your spirit. But that season is ending. The file makes it clear. You are not here to fit into small spaces. You are here to expand, to shift atmospheres, to walk into rooms and change what people feel without even saying a word. If you feel this calling on your life, subscribe right now. This is your way of staying connected to the path that is unfolding and securing your alignment with what is being revealed. And that kind of calling always comes with resistance. That's why you were misunderstood. That's why you felt alone even in a crowd. That's why you kept asking, why is this so hard? Because you were never ordinary. And ordinary paths were never meant for you. Now the time has come for you to see yourself the way heaven sees you. Chosen, covered, called. If this speaks to your spirit and you are ready to step into your true identity, declare it boldly in the comments. I am chosen. Let this be your agreement with who you were always meant to be. But even now, there are distractions trying to pull your attention away. A random thought, a sudden doubt, a voice inside saying, this is nothing. That voice is not truth. That voice is fear. Because once you fully accept who you are, everything changes. And that kind of awakening cannot be reversed. My child, my beloved, I need to tell you what I saw next. Inside this file, there was a timeline, a detailed record of your life. Not the public moments, not the things everyone saw, but the private ones. The exact day your heart broke, the moment your trust was shattered, the night you cried and no one knew, the hour you almost gave up completely. Every single moment was there. And next to each one, there was a note, a message from God. It said, I was there. I saw everything. I was already preparing what would come next. You thought you were alone. You thought nothing was happening. You thought your pain was just pain. But heaven was writing something behind the scenes. Compensation, not just comfort, but restoration. Not just healing, but repayment. And now, that compensation is no longer in preparation. It is ready. Pause here and like this video as a sign that you are ready to receive. This small act becomes a spiritual signal that you are no longer waiting. You are stepping into what has already been prepared. But listen carefully. Just like a delivery that arrives at a door, it cannot be received if no one answers. Heaven does not force blessings. You must be present. You must be open. You must say, even quietly, I receive. Do not keep it inside. Write it in the comments. I receive. Let this be your declaration that you are ready to open the door to what belongs to you. Do you understand how rare this moment is? Not everyone reaches this point. Not everyone gets access to this kind of alignment. Some people go through pain, but never reach readiness. They hold on to control. They refuse to release the past. They stay closed. But you bent, but you did not break. You were confused, but you did not give up. You kept going, even when it didn't make sense. And because of that, your name was chosen. The file repeats one phrase again and again. They have suffered enough. Now let them receive. If you feel this in your spirit, type Amen in the comments right now. Let this be your declaration that your season of suffering is ending and your season of receiving has begun. Let that sit in your spirit. You have suffered enough. No more silent battles. No more watching others move forward while you feel stuck. No more pretending to be okay while carrying everything inside. The time has shifted. The weight is lifting. And what is coming next is not random. It is aligned. Now listen closely, because this part is important. This file is not only filled with promises, it also carries a warning. Not a threat, a warning, because timing matters. This moment you are in right now is a window, a divine window. And windows do not stay open forever. If you ignore this, if you treat it like just another message, if you let doubt pull you away, the window will close. Not because heaven is punishing you, but because alignment requires response. There are things waiting for you right now. Healing that is ready. Opportunities that are aligned. Connections that are being prepared. Provision that is already set in motion. But they are connected to this moment, this decision, this awareness. There are also voices around you, or even within you, that will try to convince you this is not real. They will call it coincidence. They will call it imagination. They will say, nothing is going to change. Do not borrow their doubt. Those voices come from people who stopped believing in their own possibilities. You are not them. You are standing at the edge of a divine instruction, like this video right now as an act of alignment. Let it represent your decision to move with what heaven is doing instead of hesitating at the edge of your breakthrough. And heaven is not asking for perfection. It is asking for response. Will you receive what has been prepared? Or will you walk away before seeing what is inside? There is something else I need to reveal. At the end of this section of the file, there is something called the surprise that was delayed. Next to it, there is a moment in time that has not yet arrived. I cannot reveal the exact timing right now, but I can tell you this. When it comes, it will not feel small. It will not feel ordinary. It will feel like everything suddenly makes sense. It may come as a door opening that was once closed, a connection forming that changes everything, or a financial release that removes pressure. And when it happens, even those who doubted, you will notice. But here is the truth. That moment depends on your alignment now, and heaven responds to readiness. Subscribe as a sign that you are ready. This act of obedience keeps you in position to receive what heaven continues to release in this new season. My child, my beloved, you are not here by accident. You were guided because something inside you is ready, and heaven always responds to readiness. My child, my beloved, because you have stayed, because you did not turn away, I am now permitted to reveal something deeper within the file. There's a section that very few ever get to see. It is titled, The Signs of Confirmation. This is how you will know. Not just believe, but know that what is happening is real. Heaven does not move without leaving evidence. And in the next 24 to 48 hours, something will shift. It may come quietly. It may come in a way you do not expect. But it will come. You may hear your name unexpectedly. You may receive a message from someone you thought had forgotten you. A closed door may begin to open. A delay may suddenly move forward. But more than anything, your spirit will feel lighter, like something has been lifted, like you can finally breathe again. That is your sign. That is confirmation. That is heaven whispering. It has started. If you believe the shift has already begun, Type Amen in the comments. This is your confirmation, your agreement with what is already moving in your life. Stay aware, stay open, stay sensitive, because what is coming is already in motion. My child, my beloved, there is something in heaven that most people never think about. A record, a divine account, every act of kindness, every time you forgave, every moment you chose peace when it would have been easier to react. It was all recorded. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was wasted. Even the love you gave that was never returned. Even the strength you showed when no one noticed. Even the nights you held yourself together when you felt like falling apart. It is all there. And now, the file shows something powerful. The balance has shifted. What you have given is now ready to return to you. Not from people, but from heaven. There is a section labeled Wealth Transfer, Stage 1. This is not just about money. This is about provision, resources, opportunities, favor, things that were delayed, blocked, or taken, are now being redirected back into your life. There is even something unexpected, a release, something you did not see coming. And when it arrives, it will feel like confirmation. Things will begin to come toward you. Subscribe right now as an act of obedience. This is your way of staying aligned with the flow of favor that is beginning to move toward your life. There is also a note beside your name. It says, they are not chasing blessings anymore. They are becoming the blessing. That is who you are becoming. And that is why everything had to shift. Not to break you, but to prepare you. My child, my beloved, there is another part of the file, and this one carries deep emotion. Healing. Not surface healing, not temporary relief, but deep, complete, lasting healing. There is pain inside you that you rarely speak about, memories that still return in quiet moments. But I saw something powerful, light being poured over those memories. And the declaration was clear. This pain ends here. You will no longer repeat what hurt you. You will no longer carry what was never yours. You will no longer live in cycles that break you. You are being rewritten. The version of you that is rising does not beg, does not chase, does not settle. You walk in quiet power now. And with that, something else is being aligned. There is a person connected to your next chapter. Someone you may not expect, or someone you once knew, but did not recognize their role. They are being drawn toward you now, not by chance, but by design. When they enter your life, things will begin to move faster. Doors will open. Clarity will come. Peace will grow. But you must be ready. If your heart is still holding on to the past, you may not recognize what is being sent, and heaven will not force it. You are being called to stand in your worth, to walk in dignity, to receive what matches your growth. My child, my beloved, you have now reached the deepest part of the file. This section is called the 7-day shift. These are not symbolic days. They are real. And everything begins the moment you fully accept what has been spoken. Day 1, something inside you changes. Day 2, something delayed begins to move. Day 3, you are given a choice. Day 4, clarity increases. Day 5, help appears. Day 6, a door opens. Day 7, the decision is confirmed, and heaven will ask, did they receive? Did they respond? The difference is your response. If you are choosing alignment today, press the like button now. Let this be your visible act of faith that locks in the shift and accelerates what is already unfolding in your life. There is a version of you just days from now, walking in peace, walking in clarity, walking in flow. And there is another version, still waiting. The difference is this moment. Now hear this clearly. Within the next 7 days, someone will cross your path or return, not randomly, but intentionally. They are part of your story. If they have been in your life before, they may return changed. If they have not, they are being guided towards you now. But you must be ready. If your heart is closed, you will miss it. If your spirit is open, you will recognize it. And if you are wondering, what if I made too many mistakes? The answer is already written. You are not disqualified by your past. You were prepared by it. Everything you went through built you for this moment. My child, my beloved, before this scroll closes, I need you to hear this. You are not your past. You are not what people said about you. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are guided. You are protected. You are chosen. And now, you are stepping into acceleration. Your next chapter will not be written in confusion. It will be written in clarity. Not in survival, but in success. Not in fear, but in faith. You are stepping into one. Before this moment passes, subscribe as your declaration of alignment. This is not just following a channel. It is choosing to stay connected to the voice guiding you into your new identity. My child, my beloved, this is your invitation to rise, to receive, to become. Right now, heaven is watching, not to judge you, but to witness your response. Take a breath, slow down, and whisper this: I accept, I believe, I receive, I am ready. If you are saying yes with your whole heart, seal it in the comments with amen. Let this be your final declaration that you are aligned, ready, and walking into what has already been released for you. And as you do, heaven records your yes. Before you leave, share this message with someone. As you do, the blessing over your life multiplies, and you become a vessel through which this word reaches others who are meant to receive it. The scroll begins to close softly, but what has been released has already begun.